Hey there! Welcome to another review, this time of another vanilla, bland, mediocre at best, below average comedy from 2016. Have you noticed a trend here? It seems like most of the comedies from this past year were just nothing much to write home about. They were either forgettable or eh. So anyway, the comedy that I'm talking about now is Masterminds. Now, Masterminds, I was curious about because it's based on a true story. I remember the last type of movie I watched like this, it's like a crazy comedy based on a true story, was a film called Pain and Gain, which surprised me. So I was like, okay, it might be kind of fun. The trailer kind of made me kind of chuckle a bit. So I was like, all right, we'll give it a look. Let's see what happens. And I'd be lying if I said it didn't keep my interest. I'd be lying if I said that there wasn't enough going on that I actually cared about how it was going to end. But also I'd be lying if I said that I have any desire to watch this film again or that I would recommend it to you. So it's another one of those films that it's just there are some good points. There are some good things about it, but the negatives definitely outweigh the positives here. Now, this film was actually held back from release for a year. This is supposed to come out in 2015. The original release date was August 19th, 2015. And then it was pushed ahead to July 2015, and then Relativity rescheduled it to October 9th, 2015. I remember seeing a trailer in 2015, so it's kind of like, and then when it was announced it was being released in September of last year in 2016, I was like, wait a second, wasn't this already supposed to come out in 2015? Well, yeah, it was. The film was pulled from its October 9th release date because the company was having a financial crisis. Relativity Pictures and Relativity Media was in financial dire straits. And I don't think they got out of it, if I remember correctly. They might have been somebody bought them out or something, but I don't know the full details. But regardless, they weren't doing that great. And this film didn't do very well anyway, so it didn't help them. It cost about $25 million to make and only made $29.2 million worldwide. So it's essentially a bomb. I mean, it made a tiny profit, but it didn't make enough to really justify all the pushing the release dates back or forward. And back, I don't understand the terminology when people say, oh, push the release date back. And most of the time when they say they push it back, they mean you push it forward. So I'm like, why is this saying, oh, they pushed it back, when it should be pushed forward? Because they're not pushing it back to being released before it was scheduled to be released. I just don't understand that terminology. Maybe somebody can explain that to me, because I really don't get it. I really don't understand it. Um, this film, there was a certain quirkiness about it, a certain weirdness about it that was endearing from time to time. The actors, they all did their jobs well enough, except for a couple exceptions, which I'll get to soon enough. But honestly, this film felt like it was unfinished, or it felt like there was more to this story or more to this film, but stuff was cut out. Because you take out the end credits, and this movie is an hour and 20-something minutes. It says it's 94 minutes, but you take out the end credits, and it's only like an hour and 20-something minutes. So, I mean, that was kind of another reason why I thought it was, kind of, I guess it was watchable once, because it was a short film. I wasn't ever watching this film being like, man, I can't take this. This is too much. This is so shitty, I cannot handle the experience of watching Masterminds. So it wasn't so bad I had to take a break or so bad that I had to leave the room. But it was not really a film that I would say was like, oh, it was on. It was on the TV. It didn't have me that engaged. I didn't laugh that much while watching it. But yeah, it's directed by Jared Hess, who directed Napoleon Dynamite and Nacho Libre. And I'd have to say those are much better comedies than this. And the same dynamic directing that's on display in those films is not here. This was a very bland, like I said, a vanilla film, vanilla looking movie, a very conventional, just so-so just meh movie. And the direction was also exactly the same as the film itself. The director just, I don't know, he just didn't add a lot to it. It kind of reminded me of the directing job that the director did for Horrible Bosses 2, which is another film that I didn't like. And it felt the same way about. Now, it's written by Chris Bowman, Hubble Palmer, and Emily Spivey, and it took 3 writers to write this. 3 writers, and they couldn't come up with a consistently funny comedy. With a genuinely fun idea about this armored car driver named David Scott Gant, played by Zach Galifianakis, who's working at the Loomis Fargo and Company, which was a company that was previously robbed of about $18 million in the same year by the company's security guard, Philip Johnson, making it the largest heist in U.S. history. And, well, he has this crush on his coworker, Kelly Campbell, played by Kristen Wiig, but then she gets fired, and then Kelly ends up staying with Steve Eugene Chambers, played by Owen Wilson, who is her childhood friend, who lives with his wife, Michelle, played by an actress named what's her name? I'm looking it up. Hold on. It's on here. It's got to be on here. Mary Elizabeth Ellis. And he basically concocts this idea of robbing Loomis. So he persuades Kelly into getting David on the plan, and then some kind of shenanigans ensue. And so this is basically, yeah, it's a robbery story. It's a heist film. And there's another film that's loosely based on a true story that has a heist involved, and it's a film called Bandits, which I think is extremely underrated. It's a film with Bruce Willis and come on, I know this guy's name, Billy Bob Thornton. And I really enjoyed that film. In fact, watching this again reminded me of Bandits and made me want to watch Bandits, because that's a film that has a similar kind of story that's done better and is funnier and is more entertaining. Because there were times where I was watching this where the only reason why I was really watching it is because it was on my TV. You see, I watch my movies on my bed right here, okay? And it's a very comfortable position to be in. So it's like I could have the shittiest film or the most just bland, blasé, mediocre, or below average movie, and I would still not want to move or go anywhere because it's so comfortable. So it's not really the movie that keeps me, in a pretty good mood and relaxed, in a relaxed state of mind. It's the situation that I'm in. It's the environment. So anyway, like I was saying, the cast is fine. The cast is pretty strong. It's one of the strong suits of the film. Zach Galifianakis, though, he plays a great doofus here, but his accent just gets on my nerves. It's a typical kind of overdone, just ear-scratchingly bad Southern accent. It just sounds fake. Owen Wilson is a great douchebag. He always is a great douchebag as Steve Chambers. Kristen Wiig was actually charming. I actually didn't mind her character in this. I liked her character, Kelly. She was actually kind of hot, kind of sexy. I also liked the relationship that she had, the sort of chemistry she had with Zach Galifianakis. It was cute. It was charming. It was sweet. I wanted to see them get together and have fun in Mexico. I actually did care about what was going to happen to those two characters. So I definitely do give kudos to the screenwriters and the director for managing to make me feel that way. Now, Kate McKinnon, on the other hand, is Janice. I couldn't stand. I hated that character. And Kate McKinnon is really starting to get on my nerves as an actress in film. She's that type of actor or actress who is a comedian in name only because they're trying to be funny. They are actively trying to be funny and playing a character. And that's how they get their laughs. But they aren't naturally funny. They're not naturally charismatic. They're not naturally someone that you're drawn to. And they're not like somebody like Jim Carrey or John Candy or Steve Martin or Lily Tomlin. or these type of comedians who are genuinely talented. And Kate McKinnon might be talented. She might be a great comedian. She might be hilarious. I just haven't seen her in any film where I've liked her or liked her performance. She just played a very awkward character. She was awkward, and I was supposed to laugh at it because she was socially awkward. It didn't work for me. She was just creepy and weird. Creepy and weird doesn't equal funny. At least not to me. I mean, you got to add a little bit more to it. It's just very forced, and every scene she was in just completely dragged the film down to a screeching halt. It was just like, kind of quirky, fun movie. Have some fun with it. And then Kate McKinnon comes in and it's, and I go flying through the window. Flying through the front window and onto the asphalt down below. And then I'm like rolling on the ground and dazed and confused and wondering what the fuck happened. Where did this come from? Why? Because there's like a scene near the end, where she's confronting Kristen Wiig in a dressing room at a Walmart. And she's talking about how she uses this vaginal cream to help with her itch. And then she eventually figures out that it's the girl that her husband, her fiance, played by Zach Galifianakis, was into and was really had a crush on. And she gets in a fight with her, and then it ends weirdly where she gets the vag cream shoved in her mouth, and she's all like poured in her mouth, and she's like, "Oh, not the vag cream! Oh, I don't want it." It's very just, ugh. It was gross and just weird. There's a lot of stuff in this where it's just gross and weird. There's a scene where Zach Galifianakis is in a pool, and he drank some water in Mexico that was bad, and he basically shits in the pool. He has diarrhea, and there's this shit in the pool, and everyone runs away. And then I know it's a brief scene, but that just sums up how a lot of the comedy was in this film. It's just weird and not funny. It's just like, oh, he shat himself, wow, haha, or just very lazy. That's a typical lazy type of joke. Oh, he pooped in the pool, haha. I'm just like, you're reaching grown-ups 2 territory here. Happy Madison territory. Not a good place to be, movie. Not a good place to be at all. Now, so Kate McKinnon could not stand her, but just like I couldn't stand her in Ballbusters. But Kristen Wiig was fine. Her character in Ballbusters was just unlikable and was just weird. And she was weird too, just a weird creepo. Creepy character who was just stalking Chris Hemsworth's character. And she was also had serious fallacies and problems with her character because, I don't want to look bad in front of this guy, so I'm gonna let a ghost out. It's a whole nother story, and a whole nother movie, and a completely different film. I'll say this: I'd rather watch Masterminds over Ballbusters. Okay, Ghostbusters 2016, but it's Ballbusters to me. I've explained it to some people. Go, what the hell is Ballbusters? Ghostbusters. Oh, okay, all right, because it shot the ghost logo in the dick. Yeah, okay, all right. Now, Lizzie Jones is also in this, so the entire team of Ballbusters is in this movie. But she's fine. She's fine here. She plays FBI Special Agent Scanlon. She just plays an FBI agent. She's tough. She says a few lines. There's a couple jokes about how she looks like a man. She takes it well. She's fine. I don't have an issue with her. She was fine here. I was surprised by how much I did not mind Leslie Jones in this movie. So, she was definitely not a problem. She wasn't in the film that long to be a problem. So, yeah. And she did a good job of what she had to work with. Jason Sudeikis I liked as this hitman who has the same name as the assumed name that Zach Galifianakis' character uses in the film, called Mike McKinney. And he develops this kind of he develops a relation, kind of a friendship with Zach Galifianakis because they're both Mike McKinneys. And Mary Elizabeth Ellis I did like as Michelle Chambers. The husband, yeah, not that kind of thing. The wife of Owen Wilson, who I'm also enjoying. Like I said, he played a great dick. And Kim Marino from The State is in this, and again, he's just in Bad Milo, which is a film I do want to see. He's in it, but he's nothing wrong. Nothing to do here. At all. So, pretty much the film, there are some nice gags here and there. The idea is intriguing enough of this heist. Zach Galifianakis plays a great doof. This guy is a complete loser. He's not very smart, as you can see by the way that he ends up stealing the money. He thinks he's thought it all through, but he doesn't. He doesn't get the last videotape out of the VCR and doesn't break the last security camera, so he gets caught on tape. But there were some kind of endearing scenes with him. One in particular I did really enjoy was when he's testing out his guns and he's playing around in his bedroom. And while he's testing out his guns and trying to be a badass, Hard Target is on his TV. And it's the scene where Van Damme is on top of the motorcycle and shooting at the car. And I just thought that was really cool. Because, I mean, they put Hard Target is in the film. They paid Universal to have Hard Target of all movies in the film. And I got to give it credit for that. That was a nice touch. Doesn't save it, doesn't mean it's a good movie. But I did like that little touch there. And then pretty much when it starts to fall apart for me is when Zach Galifianakis is over in Mexico. He's over in Mexico, and then it's focusing on Owen Wilson and his family and their extravagant spending and so on, and the manhunt for Zach Galifianakis' character, David Scott Gant, and all this other stuff. And eventually it leads to where you think it will. David Scott Gant kind of ends up going back to save Kristen Wiig's character because she's about to get pretty much killed by Owen Wilson because she knows too much. And Owen Wilson wants all the money for himself. This leads to a climax where Zach Galifianakis ends up saving her, but ultimately he gets arrested. He ends up getting a confession out of Owen Wilson, though, in the process. And it seemed a bit too convenient, though. I really doubt that. I say it's based on a true story, but could be based on a true story, as in air quotes, based on a true story. But it seems a bit too convenient how they were able to get the confession out of Owen Wilson's character. Zach Galifianakis' character, he goes to prison. He's actually worshipped as a god there because he robbed a bank and stole the most money in U.S. history. He gets out. The first thing he asks is if he can go meet up with Kristen Wiig's character and have some lunch with her or whatever. And then there's this whole sort of thing that's thrown in there that I don't even know if that's really true. As we're talking about $2 million is still missing and unaccounted for. And it shows Zach Galifianakis' character roll one of the drums that the money was in, that Owen Wilson's character and his henchman put the money in, and he drops it in a lake somewhere. And then you're kind of like, okay, what does this have to do with anything? Did this actually happen, or is this just creative license by the screenwriters? And then you have a blooper reel at the end credits, which honestly was kind of funnier than a lot of the jokes in the film itself. So, yeah, that's Masterminds. It's the second film with the name Masterminds. I mean, there's another one with Patrick Stewart, which is equally as bad, but in different ways. It's a film that is there. It's a film. It's a comedy, I guess. It's based on a true story. It's kind of interesting. The performances, like I said, are good for the most part, except for Kate McKinnon, if you ask me. But it's just not really that funny. It's not good. It doesn't really keep your interest enough to really justify a rewatch. And overall, yeah, it's got some charm to it, but not enough. Not enough to save it. So I don't know what else to say about this film. Except, I mean, there were a couple other elements, score and stuff. And a lot of these movies just don't have memorable scores. And a lot of comedies don't really have memorable scores anyway when I think about it. Because the score isn't really the big thing here. Most of the time it's the comedy. And comedy's subjective. What one person finds hilarious, another person doesn't. So if you enjoy the awkward, weird, kind of stupid humor, then you might enjoy this film a lot more than I did. But if you're not a really big fan of that type of humor, I don't think you probably enjoy this movie. I'd recommend you skip it. And I'd definitely skip it if you didn't like the trailer. But anyway, yeah, there's nothing else for me to say except it's rated out of 5 stars, and I give it 2 out of 5. It's your Typical 2 out of 5 star flick, just below average. Could be worse, but it could be a lot better type of movie. And another comedy from 2016 that's like that. It's a trend, and it's a shitty trend. And I hope it does not continue into 2017 or beyond. But I don't really see much reason why it should not continue, because it seems like a lot of the comedies I'm seeing that are on deck for coming out this year look like the same shit. The what is it? The one that's coming out where it's like these two teachers fight. It's a teacher fight movie. I forgot the name of it. That's how much I give a shit about this film. It's like a movie that seems like it's a total remake of 3 O'clock High. It's got Ice Cube and Charlie Day in it. I know I should remember what it is, but I don't, because I don't give a shit about the film, to be honest. You can leave in the comments down below what it is if you want, but I could care less. So, it looks like another shitty comedy. Baywatch looks like another shitty comedy. At best, another average comedy. So, yeah, there you go. It's a typical, just bad year. And there's some surprises like Central Intelligence from 2016, which is better than I thought it would be. But for the most part, it's pretty shitty. It's a pretty shitty track record. And Masterminds added to the shit. Added to the shit pile. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys later. See ya.